Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, more to the point, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what my little trusty calendar says here today. Whew. I think it's the 9th. 9th of January. 9th of January, 2026. Good evening. My name is Leo Naranjo the 4th, and I'm actually posting a little differently here, a little bit later on tonight. Yes, I'm scruffy. Haven't shaved today. We'll do that later, especially for church. Did get a haircut, though. Yes, indeedy. So you're probably wondering why I'm doing a late night posting here today from what Rush used to call the EIB Room of Excellence. Well, this is the war room for me. Why am I posting at this late hour of the evening, even though it's only 8:32, 8:23, 8:23 p.m. on the Pacific Standard Time? Well, have you been keeping up with the news lately? Oh my God. Where are we? What is going on? What is happening in America today? Yesterday, first half of the morning, blizzard of Stephen Hilton, Palisades. Everything's about Palisades. Spencer Pratt running for mayor. Woohoo! Impressive. A lot of noise. 1-year anniversary of a city that pretty much went poof in a few days due to fires because of incompetence from LA organizations, mayor, government, you name it, it all failed in a heavily Democratic district. And those very people who supported Mr. Newsom, the Democrats, the party, the establishment here in California, were suddenly faced with the realization that the party they embraced left them standing in the cold. 1 year later, they're still there. Numbers, I think, are 16% out of the 6,000 homes that have been leveled have been rebuilt. Some even suggest only about 9 or 10 have been rebuilt. Promises of permits being passed, promises of permits being approved, all kinds of things are happening down south to the degree that now we have a reality TV star, Mr. Pratt, who has a big online presence, jumping up and saying he's pissed, he's had enough, and now he's running for mayor. Good. God bless him on his run. Some questions arose where his loyalties lie, what his political affiliations are. And at first he was kind of evasive, but then a post came out today, seemed a little bit testy, but that's just me. Mr. Pratt signed up for the Republican Party or registered as a Republican in 2020. Makes you wonder what he did before that. Leave that one out the mix. Now he's a Republican, or he registered as a Republican. And I think I said something about this way earlier in reference to Miss Roxanne Hogue down south, chastising us in the north, chastising candidates who had the brass to step into a race they felt we should never have stepped into. Grassroots candidates. Telling us folks in the grassroots and north, with her infinite wisdom and knowledge, what we needed to do to get our proverbial acts together. LA, the political powerhouse down south, because of numbers, which pretty much dictates what happens in California. Don't believe that crap about Sacramento is the powerhouse of the region. Sacramento is where the capital is, but LA has a lot of people. Very influential between them and San Diego and San Francisco. Excuse me. So here comes Mr. Pratt coming out of the woodwork. all of a sudden we're embracing him pell-mell that he's running for mayor. And I had asked Miss Hogue that question before. For all of your accomplishments, what the hell have you accomplished? Over how many million people in Los Angeles County? Much less Los Angeles City. And the best that you can do is make a lot of noise about how effective the conservative GOP is down south. But I noticed up until recently, not one Republican was running for the mayor's office in Los Angeles. Humorous. Humorous because you're chastising those of us up north who are trying to run in the governor's race. And some of us are actually doing it. Humorous that you make all this noise about how effective you are, but you never had a Republican candidate till about 72 hours ago. People are piling on to Mr. Pratt. God bless him for running. Because he's a grassroots candidate. Just happens to be a little wealthy, a little popular. TV personality, reality TV personality. It's not a takeoff on him. I'm going to post something on X towards him a little later, congratulating him, hoping he does well. Thank you for responding, Mr. Pratt, on questions on where you stand politically. Is the mayor of Los Angeles a nonpartisan position? Well, sir, you made it clear that it is nonpartisan. But everybody in California knows that position is partisan as hell. That's why they have the problems that they have down there. If you don't think that position is nonpartisan, maybe you want to rethink your thinking a little bit. You registered Republican, but you really don't care about Democrats or Republicans for the party. You're down there for the people. Very admirable. A couple of big names jumped in behind you right away. Oh my God. Endorsed. Mr. Villanueva endorsed you right away also, but that's not unusual because Mr. Villanueva is a Democrat, just found his new home in the Republican Party. But in a statement he issued as he's running again for Los Angeles Sheriff, he wants to turn California purple. That's the new Republican Party platform, turn California purple. Is that what we're working towards? GOP state level is to turn California purple? Is that what it was all about on the Prop 50? We're red. We're turning California red. We're going to turn red. But we're now embracing a sheriff. Oh, he's been endorsed by a lot of Republicans also because he suddenly found the light and crossed over to be a Republican. And we got some high-level Republicans, Miss Rankin, Miss Hogue, embracing Mr. Villanueva because he, as a former liberal, found the light. The come to Jesus moment hit him, and he's on our side. And I call bullshit. Pardon my French. When you make statements like you're working to help California turn purple, when you make statements of you're worried more about the people in your community than you are the citizens of your community, and I honed on you and stayed on you like a pit bull with a bone in its mouth until you finally broke the camp and came out, you're for those folks who are here without forms, without papers, without legal standing, what we nowadays call illegal aliens. Or, so that you don't get upset and your little feelings hurt, unauthorized individuals that are non-U.S. citizens in our country without legalized paperwork or justification of being here according to the laws. Illegal aliens, we'll just leave it at that. You're running as a Republican for the sheriff position, supposedly embracing Republican viewpoints, except one. You will do your best to prevent ICE from doing what they need to do in this state and your county and your city. unless they conform to insert the excuses of what the state has put forth. Sanctuary city status, sanctuary state status, have to have a warrant. We're not going to allow or accept ICE retainers. We have to follow SB 54, the law which prevents us from helping our federal authority people, unless you have warrant. Insert all the excuses you want. The bottom line is, sir, that you're not going to be assisting ICE remove individuals that are not here legally to be returned to their home nations. Paint it whatever color you want, flower it up with all the crap wording that you want to use. That's the bottom line. Sound like another sheriff that I know of from down south that the party is embracing as well. So that's Mr. Villanueva. Ooh, God bless you. He endorsed Mr. Pratt right away. Boom. A couple of others endorsed Mr. Pratt right away. Boom, boom. Grinnell, the rich guy from Florida, right away supported Mr. Pratt. Boom, endorsed. Sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, it's not what you hear, it's what you don't hear that can be just as important as what you hear. What you see is not necessarily the end of everything. Sometimes it's just as important of what you don't see, which is telling. In this situation, it's very telling that the so-called candidate running for governor, establishment pick, embraced Mr. Pratt to run, supports Mr. Pratt in his running, but didn't commit to endorsing him. Why is that? Mr. Tangipa, hope I said that last name correctly, pardon if I made a mistake. The young assemblyman that seems to be the rising star with Mr. DeMaio, he embraces Mr. Pratt too, but he didn't come out and openly endorse him. Why is that? I'd like to see him do more legislating in the assembly chambers than he is talking on X, since he's an active assemblyman and they're back in session, help fix California by putting forth some bills, sponsoring some bills or legislation to undo the chaos that Mr. Gino Gavin has created. You continually pointing out his failures doesn't mean jack diddly to some of us, because we already are well aware of his failures. Constant reminders? Please. That man stopped being governor within 6 months of him making governorship. You haven't figured that out by now, don't know what to tell you. I've been saying it for over 6 years. But I digress. I'm not here to talk about that. Mr. Pratt, congratulations. I want to say this before I post it, but it's the same similar post. Spencer Pratt, to you, thank you for answering the question on where you stand politically. Clears the air up automatically. Lets folks know what you are, who you are, and where you stand. That was it. Simple question, straight answer. Diverting, dodging, cagey, not a good look. You are who you are and be proud of who you are. If you're no party preference, just say it. Who cares? Chips fall where they may. But you said you're a Republican. Alrighty. Should you win the mayor's race, should I win the governor's race, we will be working hand in hand to resolve some issues. And maybe you haven't been paying attention to some of what I've been saying about the Palisades. I never got the chance to meet you down south when I went down there and toured. Would have liked to, but that opportunity was missed back in September of last year. Miss Colati was supposed to meet with me, but I wasn't aware she lived in San Diego when she gave her offer to tour me around the area. So I went on my own. That was in September. Pretty pathetic that we're the 4th largest economy in the world, but now I'm hearing 5th, which means something went wrong and we slipped. Somebody forgot to make mention of that too, but I noticed. So we're back to the 5th largest economy in the world, and a huge portion of our population down south is still trying to rebuild. But we also have a huge population up north that has the same problem. Paradise. Haven't forgot about that, I hope. Just as important as Palisades. What I'd like to do for that area, for all the areas that were burnt out because of government incompetence, is to assure you of this. Number 1, what is it that's needed? Number 2, what's left to be cleaned up, cleaned out, and removed? Number 3, if there's not enough organizations down there to handle that demand, that need in that area, then we'll put forth a few engineers through the National Guard and have them help assist for a duration of time to get rid of the crap that needs to be removed from the burned out zones. Upon that conclusion, we're going to find out from the residents themselves who in the hell wants to stay there, who in the hell wants to sell off. If you want to stay there, we need to know who you are, where you lived, and make it happen. What does that mean, make it happen, Leo? Who? Make what happen? What do you need to build? Well, we need all kinds of paperwork. Done. That's it. It shouldn't be that freaking hard, but it is. It seems to be. 1 year later, we're still having people trying to get permits. Insurance companies, what did your policy say? Have you paid off yet? You damn well better. If not, maybe we need to start looking at your company and seeing what the state can do to recover overpayment charges for loss of fair representation. Oh, I'm sure there's some lawyer legalese people out there somewhere that'll hone in where I'm trying to go with that statement. But we'll make that happen too. People paid insurance policies for a reason, to be covered with insurance. And when they have to make a claim, they expect the payment to be there, as you expected their payment for your services to be delivered on time to your organization. That's how it should work. Why isn't it working? I have no idea, but we need to put that back on track. So, Mr. Pratt, my assurance to you is we need to get that crap off the ground and we need to start it moving again. We need to ensure that if we have situations where we need to repair reservoirs for water, that should be done well in advance of fire season. If we need to have water levels present, that should be well in advance of fire season. This is not a once in a 1,000-year thing that happened down south. Every year since I've been a child in this state, the south burns up in the summer and washes away in the winter. It's called the mudslides in the rain, flowing through the burned out zones because there's no more vegetation or brush. It's not a new phenomenon. The impact might be give or take on the severity level. The areas impacted might be give or take on wherever the fires brewed up, but it seems to be a yearly thing. Why everybody's acting like it isn't is not a surprise to me. People just doofus as far as I'm concerned. This was an exception. Political games is what I call it. And I, sir, I'm not here for political games. I'm here to make corrections for this state, for its citizens. That's number one. Number two, I would hope that as the mayor, that you represent the citizens of Los Angeles fairly and adequately. And as you pointed out, regardless of party affiliation, because your position is supposed to be nonpartisan. Okay. Everyone knows better, but okay. The citizens of Los Angeles. I didn't say the people of Los Angeles. There are a lot of people in Los Angeles. But we all know some of them shouldn't be there. So these questions are going to start popping up. It's nice that you're running, but partisan or not partisan, whatever you want to say, everybody knows that's a partisan city. Everybody knows what LA is about. And folks are going to ask you those hard questions. Where do you stand on this topic? Highlighted by the shooting in Minnesota, and now from what I hear on the news, a brand new double shooting in Portland. I know where I stand on this issue. Go to my website, you'll find out. Follow me on Twitter, you'll see directly. The man running for mayor in your area, we know where he stands too, and it's not on the Republican side, even though he claims to be a Republican now. Party affiliation looks like it's starting to be a game down there in the South, where we change parties to fit the political expediency of being able to run for office. But deep in our heart, we know damn well a Democrat that flips over just so he can run, but still retains all the mentalities of his democratic processes, is not truly a Republican. Most of them are called rhinos. But I'm not getting into that. So let me slide my camera over just a little bit. Computer screen's right here. And I want to read you something that somebody posted. And I quote, "Radical leftists like Gavin Newsom have demonized ICE agents in a way that is completely distorted from reality. They've slandered them for political purposes and created hatred for men and women just trying to do their job and uphold the law." Well, thank you, Leo, for that rendition of what somebody posted. So what? Who did that? Who said that? Sheriff Chad Bianco. Attributed to him. Quote, unquote. Which is why I'm posting tonight. This is not about Spencer Pratt. This is not about Mr. Villanueva. This is not Karen Bass. This is not about Gavin Newsom. He's useless, and him in conversation anyway doesn't make a difference. The man's leaving. Let him die in peace. This is about Mr. Bianco and his post and his position as sheriff and his counter position trying to run as a candidate for governorship in California. How funny does a current active duty lawman who hides behind sanctuary state laws, hides behind SB 54, has the audacity to post something about demonizing ICE agents when you yourself will not honor ICE retainers? You will not assist ICE requests. You will not notify ICE of anybody you apprehend that may be in the country illegally and or have criminal records. First thing you did, oh, I can't do that. SB 54 prevents me from helping out. Now, if they got warrants, maybe. But bottom line is, sir, that you're not going to assist ICE in their functions as a sheriff. Now, you're making a lot of noise to the contrary should you win governorship. Why can't you do that now? What's preventing you from doing it now? There's a lot of relooks at this BS sanctuary status crap through America. And while Stephen A. Smith might be a sportscaster, he's asking that hot question that has been asked many, many months ago by myself and amongst many others. How is this legal when it clearly violates federal law? Nobody with political gonads had the witherall to stand up and challenge this crap? Has it been pushed to the limit? It's going to be, because under me, if I get elected to this state, we're going to end it day 2. We're going to suspend Prop 54 so that you can do your job when it's needed to be done. But you're running for sheriff and you refuse to do your job because you say Prop 54 and sanctuary state laws prevent you from participating in ICE actions. Hid behind SB 54 and sanctuary state laws, hiding behind polls. So again, sir, Mr. Chad Bianco, and your team, your surrogates, your people that support you, and anybody else within earshot of a video that sees this. As a Republican candidate for governor, sir, stand up, face the music, and let's have that one-on-one debate, you and me on the same stage, two Republican candidates answering questions. Whether they're from a moderator, the audience, I don't care, your call. Now, it's kind of sad that you have some military background, maybe did a term. I'm a 15-year retired veteran, but you're law enforcement, so you kind of understand the concept. You don't yield the battlefield to your opponent. Everybody in the military knows that. So I'm asking you for a debate. Kind of ballsy, ain't I? Yes, sir, I'm asking you for a debate. Chad Bianco versus Leo Naranjo IV, the 30-year veteran versus the 36-year veteran. And let's hone that down a little bit differently. The 30-year experienced individual versus the 36-year experienced individual. The party selection versus the grassroots candidate. Your knowledge and experience versus mine. One-on-one, Republican versus Republican candidate in a debate. Oh, but you had an opportunity to stand on the stage with us with Ms. Yeater when she held her government forum, and you declined for various excuses. Reasons that you gave. Lack of information, lack of forewarning, lack of whatever excuse your team used, which we all know was crap. So, for the people out there listening, for the news media that are paying attention, maybe, depends on how many viewers they get from this type of a conversation, let me explain myself for you people. I'm asking Mr. Bianco to sit down with me and have a one-on-one debate, Republican versus Republican, 30 years versus 36 years of experience versus experience. The terms. Where will we have it? That's up to Mr. Bianco. When will we have it? Mr. Bianco can pick the date. What time will we have it? Mr. Bianco can choose the time. Who will moderate it? Mr. Bianco can pick those two. Who can be the host? I'll let Mr. Bianco deal with that. That's his choice. Who, what, where, when, why? I leave to him to decide. Topics of contention, I leave to him to decide. An audience present or videoed, him to decide. Live or taped, him to decide. Everything about this is for him to decide. Now, because this is a political gamemanship thing, and I'm getting used to that political game concept, I have a demand too. But first, let me go with the mutual demand that I agree to. Mr. Bianco will demand that Mr. Vem Miller cannot attend. I agree with his demand. I personally would rather like to see Mr. Miller there. He's an interesting individual. But if Mr. Bianco does not want him there because of a pending lawsuit for defamation, I agree to that demand. My demand, and I only have one, is that my family must be allowed to be present. That's it. All the conditions are left to you, sir, to set up. And I'll be there. You can't get any better than that. Talk about whatever you want to talk about. Your terms. Basically, it looks and sounds like this: your field, your game, your ball, your refs, your crowd, your scoreboard, and I will be there as the opposing member. Because I don't want to hear excuses of why you couldn't show up because of something that fell through the cracks. Now, last year I said it was cowardice for you to hide behind your poll numbers, given such an illustrious challenge in the fact that A, I've already seen you on a debate moment with Mr. Thurman, and he took you apart in less than 30 minutes. And that's kind of sad because he's a real crappy candidate to me. Democrat side, failure as an assemblyman, maybe. Definite failure as an educator, the position he currently holds. You had the opportunity to show up on the first governor's forum with Miss Yeater. You were there. Mr. Leo Zaki was there, and I was there. Remember that 3-hour thing that we did together in round one? You look like you got a little upset at some of the questions. Then we have the Kim Yeater Governor Forum, and you failed to attend because you claim you didn't get advance notice to reschedule your times when you actually had about 4 or 5 notifications and 5 different changes to accommodate you according to what she stated on stage. But you didn't show up. Mr. Hilton was there. It was nice of him to be there. But I suspected he was going to be there because I told people I didn't think you were, and I was right. Cowardice in 2025. You didn't show up to Miss Yeater's thing because you were in Stockton, California, sitting on stage with 3 other Democrat candidates having a debate with them. You thought you did something impressive, and they blew you off because they blew you off. What does that mean? That means that, oh yeah, you were there. They made a long story about that debate. You got about 2 or 3 sentences. Yeah, he was there. He's on the Republican side, and woohoo. Most of the storyline, however, was the fact that the Democratic candidates were not well known. Name recognition problem for them. They didn't highlight the fact that you were there giving it to them and holding your own. No, they're talking about their own people. So in layman's terms, sir, you got played. And you've been getting played. The ugly truth on some of this is, on the Kim Yeater podcast, what happened to you when you made the following statement? I'm the only one that can win. I know it. You know it. The other candidates know it. Everybody knows it. They will know it. I'm the only one that can win. But if Mel Gibson comes into play, I might have to reconsider where I stand. Really? That's about a weak-ass moment declaration right there when you came out strong looking like Hercules. But it was a puff piece. And at that time, the party was embracing Mr. Gibson, and they threw you under the bus because they sure as hell weren't embracing you. But Mr. Gibson had a lot of problems, making a movie being one of them, and he declined. Oops. Now what? Your friends tossed you under the bus. Ooh, let's gravitate to Mr. Woods. Yes, sir. We thought he was going to jump in too, and the party started to run in his direction, but Mr. Woods declined. Whoops. Threw you under the bus a second time. Now what? 1 month pause. Hell, even the other candidates noticed that there was a 1 month pause and quiet from the party. Lo and behold, here comes Mr. Hilton, their guy. Oh yeah, you're their guy too. Okay. This is a unique opportunity for me to challenge you to a debate. Great opportunity for you. If you're all that in a bag of chips, you're going to embarrass the hell out of me in less than 15 minutes. I guarantee that's not going to happen. You should be able to easily slam me if you're all that and a bag of chips. You have a lot of experiences, you claim. You have a lot of stuff in your background, you claim. There's a lot of things people claim on your behalf. I'm giving you the field, and you're still avoiding the conversation. But there's going to be a conversation tomorrow where you're supposed to show up at. We'll see if that happens, and I'm looking forward to hearing the results of that nonsense. You showed up on a podcast, which I was conveniently blocked from entering in your safe space. 2025, I called it cowardice, hiding behind poll numbers. This is 2026, sir. It's not cowardice. You're just a straight coward. You're hiding behind poll numbers. If you're that good, accept the challenge from a fellow Republican to debate you one-on-one under your conditions. You can't get any better than that. The detriment, of course, is, and I know that you're aware of this, you are nervous. Dismiss me offhand if you want to. Again, like I said, you're not just dismissing me offhand as inconsequential. You're dismissing a lot of people that would like to see you answer some questions and get challenged on a debate floor. It's not me that you're dismissing in total. It's some of the public that you need votes from that you're offhand dismissing because they're grassroots and they don't matter to you. They're not as educated, sophisticated, or well off as you. This is my prediction, and I've said this for a few choice people. I've said this shortly after the convention in September of 2025, when the first rinky-dink secret squirrel meeting happened with a few candidates behind glass enclosures. Mr. Bianco was one of the attendees. People might not know this, sir, but you still have 2 years, maybe 3 left on your contract in Riverside County. Now, there might be some folks like me that have been watching your musings online, and they're probably doing the same thing. Are you doing this on the job? Or are you doing this after hours? Are you roaming around the state on Saturday and Sunday, maybe holidays? Or are you doing it on Monday through Friday, not in a vacation status where your ass is supposed to be in your office conducting sheriff duties in Riverside County? Noticed a post by you where all of a sudden you're out of uniform and in a t-shirt. I'm thinking you're on vacation because you're somewhere in the north in the middle of a work week campaigning. Is that illegal given your status? Well, evidently not. Seems to be an okay allowance. County workers can't do that, but you seem to have some leeway as a sheriff. Is it against the law? Probably not. Does it look questionable? Definitely. Does it look good for your moral standings, your moral compass? To me, it doesn't. Excuse me. because it shows me that you're willing to campaign on the taxpayer's dime as opposed to your campaign funds. It seems to me that you're shirking your responsibilities as a sheriff because you're stormtrooping around the state trying to run for governor. That's a simple process. Just resign where you're at and run for governor. Or, we'll get back to that in a moment. So you have about, I'm going to say 2 years, even though people are now saying 2029, but 2 years worth of contract left for you being a sheriff down south. That's at least, depending on who you ask, a 10% per year calculation of raises you stand to get. How did I derive those numbers? From the contracts you've had previously that you tried to misinform Miss Yeater that your deputies only get about a 5% pay raise. That's bullshit. You get about 10 to 12 because shortly after I found that out, I told Miss Yeater herself, hell, you're giving me 12 to 15% pay raises. I'll vote for your ass if I was a sheriff in Riverside County, deputy sheriff. Your guys down there love you because they got massive contractual raises. But you claim only about 5%. So I took the average of the two and I came up with 10% because I'm a numbers guy. And in the next 2 years of your contract, with at least a 10% pay raise for each year, successive to what you're already making today, which is about $625,000 a year, rounded up, you stand to clear $750,000 a year as a sheriff before 2029. And you're giving up those 2 extra years to be a governor? I've said this shortly after September. I don't believe that for an instant. Reluctantly, I've been told you entered into this race. Reluctantly, I've been told you're staying in this race. You might be a little zinger now, but I don't think your heart's really in it. Easy money with your own kingdom, or hardball questions trying to fight for half of the check you're getting now, maybe even a quarter of the check you're getting now. Money speaks for itself. Maybe you gave up the money for the run. Okay, you must be trying to angle for some money from somewhere, because I don't know very many people that give up $500,000 for a $100,000 job unless they're extremely unhappy or they got their eyes set on something else that pays them more or provides them with an income stream nobody knows about. Allegedly, hearsay, whatever you want to call it. I think you're running interference. My personal opinion is, I think you're getting ready to drop. The question is when. But that's just me. That's my opinion, in my humble opinion only. Let me give you that disclaimer in case you're curious. No, I'm not a lawman. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical official. I am not a psychiatrist, nor am I a psychologist. But what I am is highly opinionated. Why I'm here today is because your comments about ICE, because of the situation that we see happening and unfolding in Minnesota. Unfortunately, the games have gotten out of control. We're now starting to draw some lines in the sand, and we're getting dangerously close to crossing a couple of them. California is one of those states that's getting targeted by federal authorities because of the political gamemanship between President Trump and Gavin Newsom and the Democrat Party here in California. For many years, I've been hearing there are folks that are outside of the state that would like nothing more than to see California implode under the weight of its own stupidity. Another reason of why I stepped forward, because even if that were true, and you'll never hear anybody openly say it, they'll quietly say it, but not openly say it, that if it was true, where does that leave those of us in the free fall? Many people would be hurt by that train of thought. That's why I'm running first and foremost for the citizens of this state, not about political games. I don't need 50,000 reminders to tell everybody how the Democrat Party in California sucks. If you haven't figured that out in 40 years, why are you in a vote? Why are you voting? Why are you even registering to vote? Keep your head in the sand, enjoy life, don't worry about it. Seems to be what's happening now. Taking the last governor's race we had, where 51% of our eligible people, those that are eligible to cast a ballot, decided not to. Governor Newsom didn't win with 52% of the vote. Gino Gavin won with 24% of those people who cast a ballot. And Mr. Dolly lost with only 16%, not the 48% the party tries to charge and say, oh, greatest numbers we've ever seen. No, dudes. 16% of the eligible voters who cast a ballot is what you got. 51% of the people who could have voted never did. Whether they were demos, Republicans, independents, no parties, whatever, we had 51% of our electorate sit their asses on the sidelines. And you yourself, sir, barely won your county by about 12%, 13 rounded up in your favor, by my math, in 2022. That is not an overwhelming victory to me. You and your opponent barely got 200,000 votes between the two of you, you with the majority, out of 1.3 million eligible voters. And you think that's going to pull you across the finish line in California? Okay. Party elites need to seriously rethink where they're going. If this is all about the money, God bless you people. Failure is looming right around the corner and you're racing towards it. Somebody posted up on here a little while ago that said I think it was Mr. Pratt, we have an opportunity to change something that we're not going to get for another decade or two. I've said that too. We screw this one up now, it's going to be a long time before you ever see a Republican seriously be able to challenge Democrats in this state. So if I was elected governor, one of the first things that I would do, sir, if I'm elected governor, that means you lost. The question is, did you lose as a governor candidate not being a sheriff? Or did you quit or lose as a governor candidate while still being a sheriff? We'll go with the theory that you're still a sheriff because you bailed or you lost. So if I were to win governorship of this state, yes, we're going to give you exactly what you wanted. The fraud investigation, the abuse investigation, the corruption investigation in your county. To find out what the hell is costing us so much money to support Riverside County with $1.2 billion budget for their sheriff's department. Something is out of control. Are you the largest group down there? Probably. Are there cuts that can be made? I'm pretty sure. One of the cuts we're going to start making is why the hell you're paying almost $250 million in fines and settlements continuously. One of the things we're going to find out is why you have so many people in your jails dying, as has been reported on the news and other various sources online. What the hell's happening down there? We're going to find that out. You've asked for it. ICE will be in the state of California, and ICE will be clearing jails from those unauthorized to be here hotly on those that also have other criminal charges. And the expectation from you is that you're going to honor those detainers. There won't be a sanctuary state status to hide behind, nor an SB 54 to prevent you from doing your job. I'm not here for games. Said this many, many, many times. I'm not here for political games. I'm here to help California get fixed and to fix what's broken. Hopefully, you'll be on the side helping me out. Unless you want to be on a camp, standing on the sidelines making a lot of noise. So that's my reason for my video tonight, is to highlight where our illustrious sheriff has gone and said about ICE and their activities. And one last thing before I leave, Mr. Bianco, you're already on record saying that you are willing to work towards amnesty to those people here, non-U.S. citizens, unauthorized to be in our state, so long as they haven't committed any other crimes in our state. It's still a problem. But you as a lawman are picking and choosing which laws you wish to follow. How the hell can you be governor with that mentality? People who go through the line to come here legally go through the immigration process. They pay fees, they do paperwork, they wait time, they take an oath, they swear an oath, and then they join the American culture to become U.S. citizens. And you would like to see that process nilly-willy arbitrated to just give amnesty? Heaven help if that's ever given at the governor level or the sheriff's level, because I can already see what you would do. You would let it happen. That's why we have the problems we have now. Maybe it's time, sir, that you take a real long, hard look at where you stand in today's world, in today's atmosphere, and try and figure out whether this is really worth it or not. Challenged by a grassroots guy that you don't give a rat's ass about, forced to look at the fact that you have all kinds of photographs of you kneeling to a mob, embracing the fact that you would grant illegal aliens, non-U.S. citizens, amnesty to be in this state so long as they didn't commit crimes. That's okay. Won't help ICE remove anybody in your jails because of insert state excuse given. From $250 million a year budget to $1.2 billion a year budget, you're campaigning across the state while you're still an active sheriff. That doesn't seem to bother you one bit. There's a lot of things that are questionable on your conduct. Some of the statements you made on Miss Yeater's first podcast damn near amounted to lying on camera. Leave that to the listener to decide. But that's my challenge for you. You and me, one-on-one, in a debate. Republican. Your 30 years versus my 30 years worth of experience. Let the voters decide, not the party. This is about an election, not an anointment. I'm running for an election. And I'm not sure what the hell you're running for, but I'm not sure it's towards an election. Stop being Joe Biden and acting like Kamala Harris and hiding behind polls. You're a lawman. You shouldn't be afraid to debate anybody. And it's just me and my family. The field is yours, and I'm marching on it just as I did when I went down to Temecula High School and those folks told me, Leo, do you know where you're standing? This is Chad Bianco territory. It's his county and you're here? Here's my card. Let Mr. Bianco know that not only was I in Riverside County, I left that card with people in his county. Planted my flag on my opposite number's home turf. I'm not afraid to sit down with you and have a debate. I sink or swim. It's that simple. I either do great or I get highly embarrassed, but I'm confident enough to challenge you under those conditions, all in your favor, for the public to decide who is really having their heart in this race. Because right now, it don't look like you. That's just my opinion. Again, we'll let the voters decide. And I'm going to spread this long, far, and wide till we hear from you. The last and only time we met, I said I gave you 4 letters of introduction because my parents taught me manners whenever you enter the field and have a contest with an opponent. Your excuse was you never got the message. You didn't know about it. You don't check your emails that often. I wasn't aware, sir. Well, your happy ass is aware now. You know, I didn't really want to take it to this level, but you keep wanting to go there, so let's go there. Bianco versus Naranjo, one-on-one. Republican versus a Republican sitting down on a debate, your field, your topics, your place, everything that you can decide. Mr. Miller, I agree, cannot be there because that's what you want. My family has to be there because that's what I demand. And that's it. 30 years experience versus 36 years of experience. The lawman versus the Army vet. Both respectable. Let the voters decide. That's the reason for this video tonight. Cowardice was last year. Coward was this month. What happens after January, I'll explain after January. You folks have a great evening, a wonderful day. I'm going to set this up. We're going to slam it on the net, and the chips fall where they may. Good night. Godspeed. God bless. Sleep well and enjoy tomorrow. Mr. Hilton, I look forward to seeing if you show up to this governor forum and how it goes.